Welcome back. We're at the Fabulous Fit and Fantastic Show, and I've got an outstanding guest. He falls into all three categories: fabulous fit and absolutely fantastic. His name is Shaun Proulx, and welcome to the show, Shaun.
What's going on?
Oh, it's
Finally.
awesome. It's awesome.
We've had all these scintillating conversations.
Yes, finally we're here. The day
Live.
has come. You're on my show, and I was drawn to you through the internet, through a lady that I know actually that said, "Do you know this guy named Shaun Proulx?" And I'm like, "No." She goes, "You need to know him." So I'm like, "Okay." So she sent me some links. I started checking you out in all different ways. And I was like, "Yep." Got audacious. I sent you an email, and then I called you
Yes,
as
you
well to
did.
say, "Hi, Shaun. This is who I am." I find you extremely interesting. You are dynamic in yourself, and I want you to just share with the world just a little bit about yourself. You know, your story about leaving finances, how you kind of came through
everyone
it
loves
all.
that
Yeah,
story.
I love it
Everyone
too,
loves
so
that story.
you must share.
People love that story because it's just a good example of a guy who is making an awful lot of money,
Yeah.
and some of us can relate to that, some of us can't. But this guy wasn't enjoying what he was doing. He was good at what he was doing, but he wasn't loving what he was doing.
Yeah.
And so this guy was turning 30, and he was looking at his bank balance, and he had a house, and he could go shopping, and he could travel, and
Yeah.
then he said, "What do I really want to do with my life?"
Yeah.
And that's sort of become my life, is what do I want to do now with my life?
Yeah.
Because when you take those first steps in life,
Yeah.
and even start questioning, what do I really want to
Yeah.
do? You know,
Yeah.
the whole
You've been
universe
going there.
opens up and steps towards you. And then
Yeah.
it starts pulling you out, pulling you out, pulling you
Yeah.
out, pulling you out. And so I've just been on this joyride for 10 years. Obviously, I quit my job.
Yeah.
I sold my house. I was interviewed recently by a Boston radio station, and they said, it's easy for you. You're in finance. You financed your career. I went broke along the way.
Yeah.
You know, there's been many, many ups and downs, but you got to sort of look at what you would trade off
Yeah.
and say what you would give up to get closer
That's
to your
very
dreams.
good. Yeah.
And so now, 10 years later, which isn't that long. I mean, I feel like the newbie.
40.
I'm 43. I feel like the newbie in my
Yeah.
own life a lot, and I feel like I'm constantly sort of stepping into new zones, uncharted territories all
That's
the time.
a good expression, a newbie in your own life.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel, and that's sort of become the modus operandi with what we do. I've got my own media company now. It's really about challenging yourself and empowering yourself, and especially as a gay man, we don't grow up with a lot of the
Yeah.
messaging that I'm
Yeah.
talking about. And so I've sort of taken it upon myself to be an example in what I do every day for
You're
others.
a great example in what you do.
Thanks, Wendy.
Absolutely. So how did Shaun Proulx Media kind of all come to be? So you left your finances, you
I
went
left
on
my
a journey,
finances.
and how did that come about?
It's one small step at a time,
Yeah.
and I think this is where people get kind of out of whack, going, "Oh, it all came to you."
Yeah, so
I did
easy
everything.
for you.
I did everything. I had jobs
No.
in retail. I did
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff that was really beneath where I was
Where you
before
wanted.
as a guy in finance. But eventually, I started to explore my creative side. I mean, when I say I did everything, that's creatively too. I was acting. I had an agent. I was
Yeah.
auditioning, and my passion's always been writing. And so I finally got some.
Really?
Yeah, my dad was a
Okay,
writer, so I
awesome.
think I inherited
Okay.
his wordsmith ability.
What do you like to write?
Gosh, I write every day. I
Everything.
blog every
Yes,
day
we're
on the
gonna
law of
talk about that,
attraction, and we'll
actually,
talk about
yes.
that. I've ranged everything from sort of button pushing, provoking columns and articles on
Okay.
things people aren't really talking about. When I used to write for the Globe and Mail
Yeah.
and a publication called Extra, I was writing a lot about things that were in my experience, everything from
Yeah.
drug use to what it's like to be a gay man
Yeah.
in this city in 2000, and the slice of life stories that I was creating there.
Well,
Now
this city has done you well because you have an awesome husband. So congratulations this year.
I do
so
have an awesome
It's an
husband.
awesome husband. The
Yeah, I
city
think
of
he's
Toronto's
watching
been
right
good to
now,
you.
in
It's been
fact.
very good to you.
He's
So
been
congratulations.
very
I
good
didn't
to
want to
me.
forget that. You can give him a plug if you want.
Newlywed, and I think come next Monday, our marriage will
Yeah.
have lasted longer than Kim Kardashian's.
Oh, yay!
So go, go same-sex marriage.
Do you guys get like $17 million?
I don't know. I don't know.
Whatever
I
she
think
got.
someone should pay us
That's crazy.
something.
But I didn't want to cut you off, but I just wanted to make sure I acknowledged that.
Of course. No, but going back to how I got to where I am now,
Yeah.
it's step by step by step. It's like getting your writing published.
Yeah.
That led to other, bigger publications
Yeah.
publishing me. That led to a body of work that made radio stations interested
Yeah.
in me. I had a radio show for 3 years that then evolved into the television show, which we're now producing at Shaun Proulx
Yeah.
Media Season 3.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. You're producing season 3, so just talk a little bit about that.
Season 3.
I gotta watch this.
Well, what happened was I was in a radio studio setup, and we had all kinds of interesting people coming in, so we just shot right there in the radio station.
Yeah.
And then for season 2, after the radio show ended, we were everywhere. We were across Canada interviewing different celebrities.
I watched a lot of that.
Did you see
Yes,
a lot
I
of
did.
them?
I saw a lot of it.
We've had great people on
Yeah,
there. We've had
we
Lady
have.
Gaga, we've
Yeah.
had Betty White, we've had
Yeah.
Rosie O'Donnell, really fun
Betty
people.
White is hilarious.
I've talked to her twice, and she's just like
What's the famous
a ray
thing
of
she
light.
says? You know, you don't need to grow balls, you need to grow a vagina. 'Cause it takes a pounding bigger than balls or something. It's
I'm
all over.
unaware.
It was all over Facebook the other day. I was like, oh my God, go Betty White. I was like, yeah.
She's
Who
so
else had you had?
raunchy.
How did you find all those people?
Well, I had a producer
Okay.
whose job it was. I paid him to go out and
Awesome.
get me guests,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so we've had great guests and amazing people outside of the realm of fame as
Yeah.
well. I mean, I think people are interesting one way or
Either
another.
way, yeah.
Everyone's got a story. Well, one of my favorite shows right now is Lisa Ling's Our America.
Yeah.
That woman gets to travel around
Everywhere,
the States
yeah.
and meet some of the most fascinating people
Yeah.
leading fascinating lives. And that's what interests me. And so for season 3,
Yeah.
we're doing a little bit of that. We're doing it as
Are
a
you gonna be
hybrid,
traveling?
though. We're going to go all over
Yeah.
the place. One of my websites is launching across Canada, so we'll do
Excellent.
much
Okay.
in every single city. But
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to
Yeah.
it. Awesome. And where can people watch that?
the ShaunProulx.tv is
Okay.
where we're going to start broadcasting
Awesome.
that.
Excellent.
And season 2 is still on in the States,
Yeah.
on Here TV, and here in Canada on Out TV.
Well, I went to Los Angeles, as we all know,
Yes.
and I met 3 people that knew you there. 3 people that had shows, and they were going through Out TV, and I shared with them that you were going to be on my show, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I know of that guy," and I'm like, "So you are a hit in LA?"
Well, that's great,
So there
and
you go.
that's proof positive
Yeah.
what you and I are talking
Yeah.
about. I mean, people didn't know who I was 10 years ago,
Yeah,
and you just
they
get out
do
there
now.
and you do your
Yeah.
stuff. You
And I'm
do
like,
your
he's
stuff.
actually on my show on Tuesday, first as soon as I get back. So congratulations for that.
Thank you.
Awareness is huge. And sometimes you don't realize how much you're making a difference
realize.
or changing the world. Like I had interviewed Lisa Nichols, and I'd met her a year and a half ago, and she picked me out of a crowd, and she's mentoring me, and she was the first official guest in LA on my show. And I said to her, "You have no idea really how much you're actually changing people's lives. I'm actually a product of that environment." And I have to say that for you, because if I hadn't have reached out and shared and had you on the show, I would have been somebody that you would not have met, that had gone forward with you, have been, you influenced me. So I just think that's great.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
so I think that's great too. But let's talk, you had a radio show that's now a podcast. I watched
Yes.
some of that. That's hilarious.
Did you love it?
It was hilarious. How did that kind of happen?
Well,
and who's the
my-
gentleman that you're with? Give a shout
Mark
for him.
Wigmore. Mark Wigmore, shout out to Mark Wigmore,
Yeah.
is my co-host and sort of radio partner
Some
in
of them are
crime.
hilarious.
We just have great chemistry. We have great straight guy, gay guy
Yeah.
chemistry.
Yeah.
Our lives are so completely different. So we come together and we sort of exploit what's going on in each other's lives, and people love it. So
Yeah.
we've continued the radio show, the best of the radio show, I think, in the podcast format.
Well, it's kind of like you mentioned a little bit earlier when you were writing. You write about things that people normally wouldn't write about, or that they don't want to hear. Like I love on your little character, it says for people that want to watch, and for people that they want to hear but they don't want to hear. And you go there.
I go there, and,
Yeah,
and it
you go
became my
there.
job earlier on
Yeah.
to observe what was going on around
Yeah.
me. And so I don't know whether everyone necessarily watches the sort of miracle of life unfolding around them, but
Yeah.
everybody's got a story. I mean, on the way up here, I was looking out my cab window. The cab in front of me stopped. A woman got out with a bag. I was checking her out. She walked over to a man standing at a bike. She handed him the bag, and they both went their separate ways. So I'm in the cab
You're
behind
wondering,
going, what's going on? Right?
of
That
bag
sort of
was
stuff
it?
is happening all around us all the time. So
it's good when you
it's
can
easy to
sit and
find.
look.
Mhm.
Especially in LA where people watching, we're just like, wow,
I'm
did you
such a
see that?
people
Did you see
watcher.
that? Did you see that? And you just go park your butt someplace, have a cocktail or a coffee, and just watch the world go by.
It's my
And
favorite
you know
thing
what?
to do.
People probably don't realize that their lives are fascinating.
Absolutely, that's my point.
And you're looking at them and
That's
you're like,
my point.
what's going on? They're just like everyday,
Everybody's
mundane, you know, it's like,
interested.
wake up, your life is fascinating.
Everybody
and
is
you need to talk
interesting.
about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I want to talk about you.
Okay.
Okay, we talked about,
For change.
we talked about the media, we talked about the TV, we talked about the radio, but you have a great daily regime. So I want to talk about a day in the life of Shaun Proulx.
You
And
loved this.
I
know
loved
where
it.
you're going.
We talked about it on the phone, and I'm like, I got to talk about it on the show because it's inspiring. And you need to, well, I don't like to use the word need, but you should, and should's not a good word, but
You should try
I'll
it
lightly,
out.
gently tell you to share this with the world right
Try
now.
it out.
So you like to, you know, you have a love list.
Yep.
You have the journals
Yep.
about being in alignment. So just tell me a little bit about how that unfolds for you in a day.
So
Yeah.
what we're talking about here
Yeah.
is the idea of anchoring yourself and setting your tone for the day.
Yeah.
And everybody watching this right now knows what it's like to get out of bed and let the day carry them away. And I
Correct.
live most of my life this way.
Yeah.
But for the past 10 years, I've just found if you can take something, find one thing where you can use it as your
Yeah.
anchor, and that could be making sure you pay attention when you walk your dog. For me, it's journaling.
Mm-hmm.
I've been journaling for a long time, and now I start my day by writing out what is working in my life, the things that I'm appreciating,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
the things that I'm loving.
Yeah.
I fantasize a little bit. I really
Oh, we
like
wanna
the
know
idea
that.
of owning my house in Bump Springs. No,
Oh,
not
you
that.
will, you will.
You know? But what happens is that you set the vibrational tone
Yeah.
of your day. And the days that I don't do this simple exercise, I make everybody who takes my Law of Attraction workshop do
Yeah.
this.
Mhm.
And everybody's kind of surprised by how much they pour out onto the page of the things that are working
Yeah.
in their lives.
Yeah, you
And we
appreciate
spend
it.
a lot of time listing
Yeah.
all the things that are not working. So
Yeah.
to sort of start your day with this tone, it's life-changing. It's life-changing. And someone said to me just the other day, yeah, but Shaun, you've been journaling for 10 years.
Yeah.
I don't journal. Well, then journal.
Then start.
Right? Like, because there
Then
came
start.
a day where I went out and
Yeah.
bought a notepad, and I
Yeah.
went out and got a pen, and I
Yeah.
put them by my bed, and the next day I got up a little earlier
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
normal and started that. You have to start. I mean, you have
Yeah.
to take some
It takes a lot of
responsibility.
discipline. But it takes a lot of discipline, just like eating healthy. But I think once you get into it, it just becomes part of who you
It
are.
takes discipline, but I started my day out on the grumpy side today. I went for a run, and when I got back, I still
I
wasn't
hope it's because you
feeling
weren't
it.
coming on my show. And you can
But
still feel it.
I made sure I sat down before I went into the office, before I
Yeah.
really started my day, and just did the love list. And I promised you I would not be having the same day today if I hadn't. So the
And
love list is
Do you
good.
find that a day that you don't do your love list, it actually gets derailed and you get grumpy
Yes,
and it just starts off bad,
guaranteed,
eh?
guaranteed.
Yeah, and you
That's how
might
powerful we are.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not just sitting here going, oh,
Yeah.
I write a love list. That's how powerful we are. You set the tone
Yeah.
for your day, and everything is drawn to that.
Yeah,
You want to walk
absolutely.
around grumpy, you're going to attract the essence of that.
Absolutely.
Every conversation you have.
Absolutely, like a
every
magnet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So that ties into a great subject that you are also teaching,
Yes.
the law of attraction.
Yes.
So I had Lisa Nichols on my show, and she talks a lot about the law of attraction, but it ties in with you on writing yourself a love letter.
Yes.
And I wrote that letter on the plane. I read her book for the second time. So you're teaching as well the law of attraction. So just talk a little bit about the seminars that you do and how people can tie into it and how to find out more about it.
I do these workshops all over in Toronto once a month for sure, and it's selfish. It's very, very selfish because when you heard me talk about setting vibrational tone
Yeah.
with the love list. This is about setting your vibrational tone all day, every day.
Yeah.
And whether we know it or not, the law of attraction is on all the time. And so
Totally.
what that means
Yeah.
is that if you're walking around finding things to complain about, finding
Yeah.
people to hate, finding
Yeah.
problems in
You'll
the world,
find them.
law of attraction
Yeah.
will give you exactly the
what
same.
you ask for.
And so it's about deliberately living your life as opposed to by default.
Yeah.
And it's about thinking about your feelings. It's as the manifestation. Law of attraction has this interesting reputation whereby people think if you just think about the car is going to come. The car is not going to come because you thought about the car.
Yeah.
The car comes because you got happy.
Yeah.
Because everything that you want in life, no matter what, is for the pure reason that you think you'd be happier in the having of it.
Yes.
So if you get yourself happy, You're the guy who's going to attract the car.
And do the happy
You're
dance.
the guy who's going to attract the millions, the
Yeah.
mate, the
Yeah.
partner, the wellness, the
Yeah.
health, everything.
And that ties in great because you talk to me a lot about living by your own design, which is just a great name
That's
for
what
a
I'm talking
for a
about.
show, you know. But living by your own rules, absolutely love it. And we've talked a lot together about, you know, being in your truth, accepting who you are for what you are, the size you are, every little intricate thing about you. But share a little bit about how you live in your own rules.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, I think the whole thing's been a
Yeah.
journey because I decided back when I was 30, when I was leaving finance, that I didn't really buy into the idea that my destiny, for lack of a better word, was in the hands of someone else. I
Yeah.
really was buying into the idea that I could make up my own way of life, of
Yeah.
paying for life, of business, of running the business the way I thought I
Yeah.
could run it, and letting myself attract people that matched that. So when I talk about living by design, that's what I'm
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah.
Our office at Shaun Proulx Media is very much in that mode. Everybody's making up their own career. Everyone
good.
is living by their own rules. We don't punch time clocks there. You know, we have a sign on the door that says, "Be responsible for the energy you bring into this space."
Oh, very good.
And that's living by your own design,
Yeah,
because
people
when
should have
you're
that.
responsible for your energy, you're designing your life.
Yeah.
Whether you want to walk around grumpy and not know it, you're designing your own life. You want to walk around positive
Yeah.
and looking at things the way you want them to be, telling the story the way you would like to see it unfold,
Yeah.
you will see it unfold that way.
So I have a very personal question for you. With everything that you've gone through and where you stand today, all the good things and the challenging things,
Where are we
and
going?
the lessons you've learned, I got to ask you though,
Yeah.
what are you most proud of? What
Most
thing that
proud
you
of?
can look and say, wow, you know what? I am so proud of that.
I've got two things going
Yeah.
on right now that I'll give you. The
Yeah.
first is everything we just talked about.
Yeah.
I'm proud because I've taken my life and done what I wanted
Yeah.
with it and continue to watch the reward of that. I'm also really proud of my relationship. I have
Yeah.
not been a successful relationship
Really?
person.
Aw, good for you.
No,
That's
I
awesome.
haven't been.
But you are
And
now.
I've got one that's rocking and rolling
Yeah.
because we let each other live by each other's
Oh,
own
yes.
design, bringing it
Yes.
home. He's
You
allowed to
said-
be him.
Yes.
You do you.
I have that
I'll
here.
do me.
Yes.
You know,
And together we'll do each other.
yeah, together we're in for a really good ride, because
Yeah.
if I don't look to you for my happiness, if
Yeah.
your behavior doesn't affect my happiness, you're off the hook.
Yeah, and it's such a
Right?
healthier
Yes.
relationship, and I wrote that down. I actually even posted it on my Facebook the
Did
day
you?
after. I said, "Words by Shaun Proulx. You do you, and I'll do me." And then I put, "And together we'll do each other and be happy." You
And
know.
anyone listening to this right now,
Yeah.
contemplating that even, you do
Yeah.
you and I'll do me, you're responsible for your happiness, you behave the way you want to, that sounds like a really good idea. There's not one person who's
Yeah.
watching this right now who's going to go, "Oh, that's bogus."
Yeah.
They're not. It sounds
No.
really delicious.
And even if you're not in a relationship, the important thing is you do you.
You do
and
you anyway.
do you great.
You're in a relationship. You're
With
in
yourself.
a relationship with yourself.
Yeah, you
You're
are
in a
actually.
relationship with yourself, and that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You have a relationship, and you keep up with yourself, and stay happy, and find reasons to be happy, because you can
Yeah.
always find a reason in any given moment through your focus,
Yeah.
your powerful focusing mechanism,
Yeah.
to be happy. You see something that pisses you off, look in the other direction. Find something that makes you thrilled.
Yeah. You should do a bumper sticker.
I am a bumper sticker.
You are, but you should do you and I'll do me. That'd be
Okay.
great. Or a fridge magnet.
Trademark.
You know, you need to, or a button. You know, you said at Pride, you have to have that.
Okay,
I see
done.
that. I actually see that. So, we had an awesome conversation as well about, you know, everyone has a truth.
Mhm.
So give me your thoughts about that.
Thoughts on everyone
Yeah,
having a
everyone
truth?
has a truth.
Everyone has their own life experience. And you and I are sitting here. I can't
Yeah.
possibly relate to what you've gone through, what
Yeah.
you've lived, how you see the world, all the influences that, make up you. And there's 7 billion of us banging around on the planet with different truths, cultures,
Yeah.
religions, sexualities, genders.
Yeah.
Everyone's got their own truth. And so when you ask me to talk about what truth means to me,
Yeah.
it really means that we're all individual creators on this planet. It really means respecting that someone else is totally entitled to
Yeah.
have a truth of their own, even though I may disagree wholeheartedly with it. And that goes down to anyone
Yeah.
in society you'd want to point to figure out. Occupy Wall Street, Occupy Toronto. Those people have truths.
Yeah.
I don't buy it,
Yeah.
but they have truths.
And that's theirs.
And that's theirs.
Yeah.
That's theirs.
And
the
I-
bum on the street has
Yeah.
a truth. That's
Yeah.
his truth.
You know, I think that each one of us has a truth, and it matters what it is. I think to us, the only thing I feel bad sometimes for people is they have a truth and they can't share their truth because there's so many people in their environment, family, friends,
Right.
they're going to judge them and that are going to be mean to them, or it causes them to hold back
Well, and
their
that
truth.
goes back to everything we're talking
Yeah.
about, where I'm not going to behave in a certain way because it might make you unhappy. My truth
Yeah.
might make you unhappy, and then you rely on me for your happiness, right?
No
Which is,
way.
no, you shouldn't.
Yeah.
You do you,
Yeah.
I'll do me,
Yeah.
and there we go.
Yeah. Yeah, I just encourage everyone, you know, it doesn't matter sexuality or, I don't care, age, race, whatever it is. Just go and be you and share
Yeah.
with somebody, like, this is who I'm presenting to you. If you like it, great. If you don't, I'm going to continue my life and still be happy. You know, words of wisdom to the audience from you, inspiring words to say,
Okay.
you know, how can you just go and be the best you? And what would your personal words of inspiration be?
Listen to yourself. I would
Yeah.
say listen to yourself. You know that voice that you have inside you. It's the broader perspective of you. It's the all-knowing part of you.
Yeah.
It's the full and complete part of you. It's the part of you that's ahead of you because it has everything that you want.
Yeah.
So I had a conversation with my partner about this just the other day, and he said, I was going to take my wallet. We were out with the
Sixth
dogs.
sense. Yeah.
And now I want a coffee, and I didn't bring my wallet. I said, if you'd brought your wallet, your inner voice will tell you to do something bigger next time,
Yeah.
and bigger next time. You can train yourself. So
Yeah.
listen to that voice, even if it's just sort of saying, turn down that street, take your
Yeah,
wallet,
absolutely.
call your mother,
Yeah.
whatever that is, because then that becomes the sort of voice that gives you the genius idea,
Yeah.
that gives you the right things to say in the
Absolutely,
right
I agree with that
moment.
wholeheartedly.
Right?
I call it your sixth sense. Like,
Totally.
I always say to everybody, just go with your sixth sense. There's that nagging, tugging,
Absolutely.
or like you
I
said,
mean,
you know, I got to call that person. Well, it's telling you for a reason, and act upon it.
Now's the time to make
act
that
upon
business
it.
call. Don't
You
make
gotta
that
act
business
upon
call.
it. Yeah.
I was saying just
Or
this
you don't
morning,
feel good.
there are a couple things that I've been meaning to do, and I keep putting them off. And I'm listening to my voice saying,
Do
don't
it.
do them right now. Don't do them right
don't
now.
do them. Okay.
And I don't know why. I feel like I should do
So
them,
don't.
you know, get them off my list, but I haven't been. And the way things have unfolded in and around those subjects, I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I
So
haven't
glad I
attended
didn't
to this
do
yet.
it. Awesome.
And you get that rhythm and flow in your life that's really nice when you listen to yourself.
That's awesome. And I wish that everybody could. You
Yeah,
know.
we're all at different places in our own
Yeah.
truths.
That's right.
Right.
And everything happens for a reason
Yes.
and for a lesson.
Yes.
We also talked about body image,
Right.
you know, and I got to go there because you're so fashionably connected and designed. I told him he has to do a fashion show, so you heard it live today. That
Not today.
not today, but he should do one. We talked about body image,
Yes.
and obviously I gave a feminine, female perspective on it about my show. I actually have a good following of men as well following my show, just about living in your natural state of weight. But we talked a lot about body image from a male perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I shared about a female perspective to you. So let's just talk to the viewers about body image
Mine's
perspective.
a gay male perspective.
Yeah.
Mine's about the things we talked about. We're under so much pressure with media messaging. We're
Yeah.
under so much pressure with our own internal voice that tells us we're too skinny, too fat,
To shave or not
gravity's
to shave.
sagging, shave, don't shave, Botox, don't
Yeah.
Botox. Ultimately, I think you want to make your own choices and do your own thing.
Yeah,
I
well,
certainly
feels
do.
good.
But I do feel that in this kind of day and age, that there's this kind of critical point we're at, this juncture where people are starting to embrace who they are body image-wise.
Yes.
And it's really fun to
Important.
see.
Yeah.
You see shows like Drop Dead Diva, where
Yeah.
the central character is
Yeah.
a big, large woman, smart, you know,
Yeah.
and it's a refreshing change. You see even on soap operas, larger actresses being
Yeah.
cast.
Yeah.
You know, and you see in everyday life people
Yeah.
being a little bit more
Relatability.
comfortable
Yeah.
with who they are. I see it certainly in the gay community, these 20-year-old twinks, as we call them.
Yes.
I wouldn't have the nerve to walk around in this sort of cut-off, gold lame, spandex shorts, you know, with their punky hair or whatever,
Yeah.
and they're showing off their super, super, super skinny bodies. Back when I was that age, if you weren't a muscle guy,
Yeah,
you didn't
you
fit
wouldn't do
in.
that.
And I think about all the training dollars I spent,
Yeah.
all the gym dollars I spent, you know, and then we were all shaving our chests on the dance floor, you
Yeah,
know, because
yeah.
the hairless look was in, and it's
Yeah.
just like you get to this point internally, and I know that we're reaching that as a consciousness where enough is enough.
That's
And
right.
individuality
That's
is really shining through.
good. It's important.
And even just in my own understanding of things, I look at people a lot more differently than I used to. I've dropped a lot of judgment.
It's important. It makes a
Yeah.
huge difference. And do you find that that makes a difference for how you actually think about yourself?
See yourself.
Oh, huge.
You see yourself,
Yeah.
because when you're
We live a lot that
criticizing,
way.
it's a cliche, when you're
Yeah.
criticizing and judging someone else, it's yourself that
It's
you're
yourself
really,
that you're looking
and
at.
you can learn a lot
Yeah.
when you do that by going,
Yeah.
I'm attacking that person for their way they look. Okay, so I
What
obviously
about
have
you?
issues about the way I look,
Yeah.
as an example.
Absolutely.
You know, it's a drinker that attacks someone else for their drinking habits, right? It's,
You know, I was away, we were away, and this lady kept saying something, and I looked at her, and I'm like, so what is it that you're so unhappy about that person that's actually bothering you?
Right, right.
You know, I asked her the next day, and it bothered me, and she kind of looked, and then she actually realized. And then the day after, she said, I'm really glad that you said that to me, because I wouldn't have noticed it. But I
Because
think...
it becomes a habit, right?
Yeah,
And it
but
becomes
it's-
something you don't even notice
Yeah.
anymore. I used to be terribly, terribly, terribly judgmental. Even in my own head, just
Yeah.
looking at people as I walk
Like-
past them on the street,
Yeah.
terribly judgmental. Like, I feel so sorry for that young man
Yeah.
who is walking around.
But we don't know what's going on in here
We
either,
don't.
you know?
We get a little older and a little wiser.
Yeah, and I share a lot that 2 years ago I went on a cruise with 1,000 lesbians. I was doing a show with a trainer, celebrity trainer,
Yeah.
and I went on this cruise, and I got to tell you, it was huge. I had 3 ladies from the show, actually on my show in LA, that were on that cruise. One lady stuck in my mind, and I said, you have to be on my show. She was bisexual. She had been married. She had children. She's bisexual. She's with a lady now, but she talked so much about all the philosophy of just accepting. And on that cruise, it was a huge acceptance of just reality of
Right.
everybody. And I came home and I'm just like, you know what? This is me. You
Right.
like it? Great. You
Right.
don't like it? Great. And I've a lot of gay friends who always share with me, you know, Wendy, you can relate to me, you can understand me. I have so many great conversations, my accountant specifically. We could talk for hours. You know,
Well,
he's
it
like,
all dovetails, doesn't it?
Yeah,
It all
just
dovetails with everything
understanding.
that we're talking about
Yeah.
being authentic to who you are,
Yeah.
setting the tone for your own life, and living it the
It's
way
good.
you want it to unfold, and being real with who you are.
so I'm happy for you.
Thank
I'm really
you.
happy for you. I'm proud of you. You
Thank
know,
you.
and I'm just getting to know you, and I know it's going to be a great journey. I look at your blogs. I actually saw your husband's blog. You guys kind of
Tag
went back
team,
and forth.
oh, yeah.
So how do people find you? What's your website? You want to shout it out?
ShaunProulx.com. You can visit there and you see
ShaunProulx.com.
all of our products there. Podcasts, TV shows, websites,
Okay.
the whole 9 yards.
And you've
Facebook,
also,
Twitter.
Yes, Facebook definitely.
Yes.
And you've also got a personal site as well.
Yes,
Plug you personally.
ShaunProulx.ca. That's
Yeah.
more of just kind of a bio and
But
all
you
that
know,
kind
I
of
went there
stuff.
first.
Oh, did you?
That's where I found out about
Did-
you, because I Googled it, and it actually came up. And you got some fabulous shots.
Oh, thanks.
Who took them?
Oh gosh,
Oh,
over the years,
Over the
lots
years,
of people.
great
Yeah,
shots.
thanks.
Very physically fit, fabulous looking. And I'm like, you got it all together. You have a lot to teach the world.
Thank you.
You do.
Thank
You
you.
just got to get those people into your conferences. Where can people find out about your next Law of Attraction?
Our next one is in January, and
January.
it's here in Toronto. And the best thing you can do is email ideas@shaunproulxmedia.com, and we'll send you a little note saying
Awesome.
when and where.
Excellent. So thank you so much for being here today. I know
pleasure.
our time is out, but you know, you really want to go to Shaun's website, plus the media website, but get to know this person, get to know this man and who he is, what he thinks, and how he lives his life. And you know, take note about journaling, take note about understanding the authentic you, being true to yourself, just like you have. So congratulations on your
Thank
journey.
you. Nice to
Yes,
see you.
Awesome. So we're going to sign out, but thank you so much to everyone for watching. And like always, I always share, you know, for all you Facebook people, I absolutely love you and appreciate you. And the people that take time every day to email me your love and affections and inspiration, I thank you. So we are here the third Tuesday of every month, and we'll be back again next month. And thank you for following us. Keep emailing me for your pH balance sheet, because I'm still sending it out. The vision is to help you have a healthier life, whether it's physically, emotionally, mentally, or food-wise. We're getting the information to give it back to you. So www.wendyladd.com is where you can find me. Fabulous Fit and Fantastic on Facebook. So thank you once again. Signing out live here, Wendy Ladd from Fabulous Fit and Fantastic Show.